After a while of working in London and doing exhibition after exhibition, I got to a point where I thought, I can't do it anymore. It was like a hamster on a wheel. I was doing like 50, 60, 70 paintings a year. It's too much. The worst part of burning out is you start thinking, what am I doing it for? And the best part of what I do is I don't know what I'm doing it for.
For this film, Mark was prepared to talk candidly, to demonstrate his painting and his technique, and to open up the meaning of his work and the way his life has influenced it. To present, for the first time, an in-depth picture of both the artist and his work.
What a job, eh?
I never thought my life would come to this. Let me take this head off it. In the 80s, it was abstract. Figurative art was out the window, and that's all I wanted to do, all masters, figurative stuff. So I went to life drawing classes. When I was working at the market, I'd go to life drawing classes and printmaking classes, and I learnt to draw. And like everything in life, it does full circle, doesn't it? But you don't think it's going to comes round again. And so like all these galleries are looking for figurative artists, and there weren't any, and I could do it. The figure itself is not the main focus of it. So it doesn't matter if it's, Boris Johnson or in a dress.
Let's not go there.
No. I don't know why he came to that.
Mark's dexterous approach to creating figures is perhaps best observed through his work on paper, a process which appears both sure and concise, yet at the same time remarkably free and expressive.
I can react to something that if I put a mark down, I know how the next one should go. I tend to just do it, and then some things will appear or emerge, which I didn't intend. What I don't have is an end point, so it's just an ongoing process. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't, I'll get rid of it and do it again. It's never finished. I've not got my glasses on.
You said this every time.
I keep forgetting, yeah. I'm thinking it's a bit more blurred than I'm used to. Once I get to this point, I'll put my glasses on, yeah. Bloody hell, that's it.
And there's no rhyme or reason to
No.
that, because I think you've burnt some of the most beautiful paintings I've ever seen in my life.
Sometimes, if it doesn't work, I have a paint over it or I burn it. I'm sorry. Big fingers help here as well. As a kid, we went on a school trip to the Louvre in Paris. The first time I'd been in an art gallery, I thought, blimey. I was first exposed to it. I remember there was one on a wall and they had steps up to it, so big. And I thought, well, how did they do this? And I went to the corner and thought, what's underneath it? Started to pick at it. And the guard came out. That first interaction for me was like, it wasn't like looking at the picture, it was like, I want to know what's underneath and how they did it and what's the, how do you make it? Yeah, find out what it's made of. I remember getting back thinking, all right, that's what I'm going to do. Something like that.
It sounds good.
Yeah, all right.
Mark's early fascination with texture
So
has since become a resounding staple of his painting style.
obviously when I'm working with the thicker texture, which I mix, I work that over and scrape it back. And beeswax. See how thick it's gone there? Just because of beeswax, it's that one. And bulk it up again, chalk.
And it's a technique that he shares with the great lineage of the old masters.
These are how the old masters used to make the paints. You can see basically how they worked was they couldn't afford like loads of paint, so they'd have to bulk it out. and they bulk out with chalk and there's all sorts of stuff in. The old masters, like glass and coal. It was all about additives. Could use chalk and flour or anything like that could get their hands on. I just looked at the old masters and sort of looked and thought, if I can get half as good, I'm twice as good as anybody else, because the quality of their work is just so good.
Mark's approach involves a great deal of risk-taking through the constant application, removal and dispersal of different layers.
You're lifting it off and you're putting it back on, and then eventually it will emerge. And now I start to bring the figure back through. That repetitive motion. There's no brush mark that'll do that. What you're looking for is really getting that contrast of the figure and the background are not separate but are not apart. By just introducing something like that, you're going from dark to light to dark to light. It has to be layered. I mean, the Bible rubbish, I've not even got my glasses on.
You know, that's talented, that isn't it?
Despite being acknowledged for his use of texture and the rich, colourful beauty in his figures, something else remains in much of Mark's work: a tangible sense of darkness.
There's more from me working in the meat market. I came out, like I said before, slightly traumatised by the whole experience, and so painting, it's like anything, you're expressing yourself, and it just came out a bit dark. Didn't mean to, but it just did. So hard walking with a back. You have to be careful because it's a bit boggy, but working as a butcher didn't really do anything for my mental health, but it did. I learned form and I learned flesh and texture. And when I worked in the market, obviously you got to understand the bone structure, which was quite useful for when you're trying to make a figure solid. So you got to figure out how muscle fits on bone and how sinew holds it together. It was all quite interesting. But yeah, not much more interested than that.
Do you remember you telling me a story some time ago about when you were a boy, there was a cow in a field at the end of your garden, and you and your dad got the farmer got it in a van, and the farmer killed it with a stun gun, and you was being horrified by that.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Well, the cow was ill, and my dad decided this was a good time to take your son, and then he's like 13 or 14-year-old, into a slaughterhouse and see a cow being shot. And it wasn't. Well, I do remember that, yeah. But these things do, subconsciously, stay with you, don't they? Whether you want them to or not. That judder, you can still feel it, you know.
In a way, do you think that sort of hard experience when there's a lad, you got up before it was light, cycled to the meat market in Manchester, worked as a butcher, all that sort of stuff has given you a broader perspective for your art?
Yeah, it gave me a thicker skin. You've got to be able to take criticism, and I was looking for criticism because I thought that made me better. I went to London with my portfolio. I just got on the train one day. I thought I'm just going to go around the galleries and knock on the door. So I did that, and I was only looking for criticism. I wanted to know what's wrong with it. Where can I put it right? You know, I got that feedback. I was painting this old guy from life drawing class. He was in his 60s. I did some beautiful drawings. The one in the gallery said, yeah, it's beautiful, but nobody wants pictures of old men on the wall.
Yeah.
And so I came back and I changed to painting models. So I went and booked a recognisable model. And then you elevate yourself to a different audience then, so. Just stand me away, because I'll do the line.
Same again.
Yeah.
Just moving.
Show the soul there. We'll do a photo session with Jamie's photographer. And I look for the ones in between. You know, if a model sort of sat there and just turns, the best shots are like just as they're going out of the pose or into the... You're getting that, again, that spiritual sort of like, you're getting that in-betweenness.
For Mark, finding the right talent has not always been so easy. In his words, he recalls one such effort, having reached out to an A-list star with the aid of friend and collector Sir Jim Radcliffe.
He said to me, "Is anybody else who'd like to paint?" And I said, he went, "Oh, her agent's my next door neighbour. I'll have a word."
Oh, what word?
To be fair, he did. He was sort of like, he rung me up later that day. He said, "Here's a number. I've told you you're going to ring her." See what she says. She said, "Fuck off." I've been painted by Lucy and Freud.
I'm just...
The fact that I chose a supermodel, if you like, to pose was a commercial reason, but it didn't change the drawing or the painting style. It was only the same style, so subject matter changed, and so really I was willing to compromise that and just move forward with it.
Underpinning the physical beauty of Mark's figures, there lies an abstract darkness. A darkness that pulls and tears at the subject from beyond an almost liminal boundary. This darkness is the presence of Moorland.
I suppose for me, the Moorland idea is again a metaphor. It's more how it feels when you're in there. Let's just walk a bit further, because that's where the road noise stops, just round this corner. If you go walking it and you stop, you're consumed by this massive space. It's quite spiritual because there's no physical reference to being a human being anymore. There's no buildings, there's no roads, there's no paths, there's no car noise. And you think, this is actually what life is. We build a concrete jungle, don't we, that we live in, and it's,
And I suppose that's why the models are so ephemeral at the bottom. They just sort of begin to dissolve.
It's sort of,
they hit reality, and reality wins. Yeah.
It's quite nice in the mist because, if you're here long enough, it'll start to disappear, and the moors will start to emerge.
If you're in Moorland, it's a physical thing, but if you stop and listen, and you can't hear anything, then it becomes a spiritual thing. I quite like that faded beauty idea. I like going to an old castle and looking at an old stately home when it's just a bit, falling down.
Yeah.
It's got more beautiful than it is when it was first built, because it's got that life to it and the reality of it.
I always imagine an old couple sat in the lounge with little trinkets that they've picked up throughout the years. That's more real than a big spacious empty kitchen in it with no soul. The idea of minimalism is it just takes your soul away and there's nothing left. Modern life, it's rubbish. Prepare me for my full English.
It's as if it's almost like a dialectic, that there's two parts of that painting almost fighting each other. All of them, the face is okay, but as they go down, they are pulled and tugged away and they dissolve because the surrounding is stronger than the model.
Yeah.
The face was okay.
I heard the way okay as well. Is this a point we can just leave the chair empty and say, Mark Demsteader has left the building? Check, it's not dried up overnight. Maybe add a little warmth. I tell you what I do tend to do is forget. That's the only flaw with this process, is if I've done something decent, I think, wow, how did I do that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I have to wait till it comes out again and I forget. You deviate off and get lost in a little bit, but then you'll do something and think, oh, that's good. I can't remember how I did that. I talk to colleges and younger students. They seem to be frightened of making mistakes, but that's the only thing you've got to do.
Instead of training to be an artist, Mark Demsteader experienced the hard daily slog of a Manchester meat market. Yet in these hard years, developed his own particular and highly distinctive style. A style which has produced subtle, rich and brooding paintings which transform any room in which they hang.
Because I've not really got a purpose in life. I'm not aiming somewhere, or there's no, I'd say there's no point to it, but there isn't really. It's just, I'm lucky enough to have sold some work to keep on living a pointless, purposeless life. There's no such thing as a great success. Everything's just a less of a mistake than the last one. But then you've got to get over that. That's the thing, you know. You've got to really do something rubbish, you know, or make a mess of what you're doing, just to move it on. It's the only way you improve is just by, you know, producing rubbish.
Yeah.
At some point, without knowing it, you'll produce something that's good.
We'll keep this one.